it's 6:30.
I will admit all to our meeting
Okay.
right now.
Welcome everybody here and in Cyberland to Guilford Selectboard meeting. It's February 10th to 6:30 and I'm calling the meeting to order. Let's see. Mike, would you please read the rules of procedure?
Sure. Rules of procedure. The Select Board is required by Vermont statute conducts its meetings in accordance with Vermont Open Meeting Law Statute 1 VSA Section 310 through 314, except as provided in Section 313 of that title. The statute reads, "The public shall be given a reasonable opportunity to express its opinion on matters considered by the public body during the meeting, as long as order is maintained. Public comment shall be subject to reasonable rules established by the chairperson." The Vermont Secretary of State office words it this way: "The public comment period is not a free-for-all. The board chair may establish reasonable rules to maintain order and reasonable limitations on the amount of time for each speaker are not unusual or improper."
Thank you so much. Okay, do we have any changes to the agenda order?
We do not.
I see. Then it's time for public comment, public announcements. Does anybody have a public announcement? Okay. Hearing none, we can go right on to the approval of the minutes. Okay, do I hear a motion for the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of 1/27/25?
I make a motion to approve that.
Okay, and I will second that. Any discussion? Okay, well, since we're all here, all in favor of approving the minutes, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. I say aye too. Okay, opposed? Abstaining? Okay, and so the minutes of should this be the special meeting? It says regular
Yes,
meeting.
it should be special.
Oh.
I will change the minutes of this meeting to make that.
Okay, so I will move that we approve the minutes of the special meeting of 1/30/25. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, all in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. I think it's unanimous. Okay, and so now we'll move on to the section about the finances. Tara, would you like to do the warrants, please?
Yes, I'd like to move to accept the warrants as written. Payroll week 2/2/25 is $9,458.07. Payroll week 2/9/25 is $9,967.11. Expense warrant number 2515 is $38,448.97. Expense warrant 2515T is $1,496.46 for a total of $59,370.61.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion about the warrants?
A lot of the money other than payroll is salt, sand, diesel fuel, truck repairs, 3 vehicles were worked on, and tools. And that was pretty much the bulk of it. There was a couple checks that got lost in the mail. One was for Consolidated for a telephone, and then one was for M&T Bank for a credit card payment. Those got lost, so they were rewritten.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they will be tomorrow.
Okay.
But we've determined that they were lost, one back in October and one in the last couple of months. So.
Okay. And then 1,500 went to the Guilford Conservation Fund, which was mentioned at last meeting. This is a transfer from the Conservation Commission to the Guilford Conservation Fund. And that's about it.
Okay.
And I have documentation for that. There's a notice here to the select board that the Conservation Commission wrote one, and one is from Ellie. Ellie would like to cut a check to the town, from the town, to put $100 in as backup in our Municipay account, which is our online payment account, and just as a safeguard so we can pay any service fees that we get.
Okay.
We shouldn't be getting them, but we have accidentally been getting them, so Ellie's thinking that we should just.
Is there a balance that it has to be like $500 or $100?
No, it's
Okay.
just, typically, we would be getting the payments from the online payments and then just transfer it over to the general budget, but because the bank has been mistakenly charging us service fees without fixing it, it just keeps happening, so Ellie says we're gonna keep $100 in that account until that's resolved.
Well,
So eventually it probably will be.
that sounds prudent. Okay, so are we ready to vote on the warrants? Okay, all in favor of approving the warrants as written, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and I say aye. Any opposed? Abstaining? Okay, then we get past the warrants. Okay, so now we're moving on to updates and reports. And so, Erica, we would love to hear from you.
Okay, I would love to tell you part of what I've been doing for the last 2 weeks. I am happy to say that the Guilford Gazette is now out. We posted it on the the town website this morning. It is also in the mail. The wonderful Gazette staff did a great job with that. And it's our election edition. So there's a lot of candidate statements in there for our upcoming local election. And that is on the town website right now and should be coming in the mail soon. The town report is also finished. That was a lot of work for a lot of people. It is up on the website now and it's mailing out this week. Who helped with that? Auditors, all the town auditors. Ellie was a great help, Uriel. Everybody who contributed, all the commissions, committees, and social services, everybody delivered their reports on time, and the Reformer was extremely helpful. They are printing and mailing it this year. So that was very good to organize that. And so like I said, it's on the town website right now. There's an announcement on the front page, so you can get to it from there. I've been organizing town meeting, getting who wants the tables at the town meeting, any groups that want tables should let me know. So I'm about to send that request in. And I've had a pretty large public records request that I handled. I was working with Dan Ingold, the Emergency Management Director, on 2 different agreements that are now at the town attorney for review. One is an MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding for using the Guilford Community Church as an emergency shelter, which has been in practice for years, but they're codifying it with an MOU, which is a really good idea, and our insurance company is very pleased about that. So they helped, and it's, like I said, sitting at the attorney's right now. There's also an agreement, which is a little simpler, for people to borrow the portable power units that ARPA dollars paid for emergency management. So that agreement will come back from the attorney and be ready to go too. I would like to acknowledge that last Monday, on February 3rd, the town of Guilford received a notice of temporary restraining order regarding the funding pause that the president ordered for federal funding. Vermont is a plaintiff in the lawsuit against the president. Federal funding pause could be absolutely devastating for the state and for our town. especially our highway. So we hope that we can prevail in that lawsuit. Yeah. It's been an interesting couple of weeks.
Indeed.
Remember to breathe.
And this is a state.
Yes, because we are affected by that. That's why we got that notice. It's a legal notice. So we're I think, yeah, we're a victim of this action. I've been helping, or I helped a little bit, Wyndham Regional. Jeff Nugent, who does the maps for Wyndham Regional, asked about a class 4 road in Guilford that he couldn't quite figure out where it goes at the end. So Uriel and I attempted to help him by pulling some surveys, and we didn't quite get there. So he's going to come visit our office with somebody that knows a little bit more.
We
I
have
love
a
working with
mystery
them.
road in Guilford.
Maybe.
Okay.
I mean, it's probably not a mystery to everyone. It's a mystery to this person who's putting the map
Did
together.
you reach out to Dan Zembrowski and ask him if he would help?
I can do that. He would love to help, I'm
I think
sure.
that would be a great idea, and I'm sure that he probably knows what the road is.
Yeah, I bet he does. It's it's not like hidden or anything. It's just a little continuation that the map maker wants to be certain what it is. So. And the last thing I did on Friday of last week was I met with the Historical Society to continue our conversation about the building that their museum is in and the repairs that it's in need of.
Oh, well,
And I
good.
will stop there.
Uh-huh. Well, thank you so much
Thank you.
for that illuminating report. It's just such a varied batch of responsibilities to take care of, and I really admire that, how you keep it together. Still smiling. So I'm assuming that we're not going to be hearing from Jim in person tonight, our
Well,
highway report.
he intended to come tonight, but as you know, this weekend was a very busy one for our road crew, and 3 guys were out for this last storm. So we had one, Alan Belleville came and helped
Oh.
out, yeah, and I think he was happy to do that, that's what I heard. But Jimmy has been working a lot this weekend, and that's pretty much all I have to report. There was some carnage, as he puts it. Something broke on one of the trucks, and he really doesn't want to send that truck in for repairs because he wants it to be on the road. So they're trying to fix it themselves, and
Well,
it's just something that they sometimes have to do.
I think all of us can acknowledge that this is what they used to call an old-fashioned winter, at least, our February, with more snow in the making. And my heart goes out to Jimmy and the crew for having this be their first winter together. And I don't know about your roads, but I made it down mine with no problem, but they're gonna be getting narrow soon, so it's a lot. It's
It's
really
a lot of snow, and more on the way.
Yes, including the dread wintry mix. Okay, so that takes care of updates and reports. And now we're up to old business, the new state ethics rules and requirements.
Yes. So I can go over a little bit of this. I think our next meeting will be a lot more robust because Chip has been doing a lot of work on these. We have some model policy and complaint forms that need to be edited, and Chip's been working on it. And I think by next meeting we'll have really solid drafts for everybody to look at. If not, something that we will be able to approve it just yet because there's a lot of pieces to it. But I'll tell you what we've done already. We have appointed a liaison to the Ethics Commission. In fact, we appointed 2, myself and Uriel. We posted the municipal code of ethics on our website. We posted whistleblower protection on our website and in our office. We have begun taking the required ethics training. I took it, and Chip took it, and Veranda took it. Any new members elected to the select board in March will have 120 days to complete theirs, and that's how the cycle will go. And anybody who takes it has to take it again in 3 years. So the next thing we're working on is adopting an ethics complaint ordinance. And we're using the VLCT model. And pieces to do with that are develop rules and procedures for complaints, which we have a model complaint form from VLCT. And there is one element to that that the select board needs to decide who will be designated as complaint recipient. There is a designated complaint recipient, and there needs to be an alternate designated complaint recipient in case the designated complaint recipient is being complained about.
Oh.
So that's 2 complaint recipients to appoint.
May I ask a question about that?
Yeah.
And so are the complaint recipients, do they need to be staff?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, it need to be staff or a legislative body.
Mhm.
So it could
Okay.
be me, or the chair of the select board, or the whole select board.
Okay.
Or the whole
Options.
select board?
Yeah.
Not one appointed
I
select
think
board
that's
person?
what it says here. Let's see. Municipal manager, municipal administrator, or chair of the legislative body as applicable. In case of a municipal complaint brought against the designated complaint recipient determines that a violation of the municipal code of ethics has occurred, the other recipient of the complaint will take immediate and appropriate corrective action. So that's part of the model ordinance,
That did not sound like the full select board. It sounded like,
like a one-person thing.
it
Right.
sounded like the chair.
Right, so I think making it one person does make sense because there's an investigative element to it, so I think we need a little extra guidance about how to do that.
And is it like a grievance systems? Whoever has a complaint fills out a form,
Yeah, there's a
takes it to the person, and then the person presents it to the select board, or is it dealt with within the, how is it dealt with?
I think we can decide that. It's just an investigative process. Let's see if there's any specific. The legislative body may meet to discuss the conduct of the municipal officer. Executive session may be used for such discussion. The chair of the legislative body may meet informally with the municipal officer to discuss the violation.
You mean if the chair is not the designated complaint recipient, then the chair could discuss it with the official recipient?
Discretion, take any of, so the legislative body may take, I think this is up to the legislative body
I
to
see.
do the corrective action. So,
I wonder if VLCT has advice, I mean, this is all new.
yeah, and they're still working
So-
on things about it.
That's
Right.
just a little vague. But the complaint is, if someone has a complaint about staff or select board members, that's what this is about?
Any
Employees?
officer, so there's a list.
Okay.
Their list, I think, is not complete because they don't mention, we have a recreation commission, which is not in this list. But that's it, it's everybody, basically. It's any elected or appointed town officer.
Okay.
The moderator. There's a lot of things that we don't have here, like a first constable, but
It seems like we have limited options who can do it, right?
who can be the designated
Yeah.
complaint?
And I mean, one question I have is, can the liaison also be the recipient of the complaint? Or does that have to be
A different person? That's a good
So is
question.
it
Yeah.
eliminating our options here a little bit? But I do think a VLCT
Yeah.
consultation would be.
Well, and I think that once we get to a nearly final draft form, we'll have to send it to the attorney anyway, and the LCT.
It does seem like a few people should be able to hear complaints just in case there's two people that the complaint's about. or-
Yeah, none of this came up in the training, you know, yeah.
No, the training was very much about the new the new statute that replaces the previous statute.
And it really focused on conflicts of interest with the quiz and take a few moments to think about it and then give your answer. It was not rocket science, although it did seem to be narrated by artificial intelligence. Anyway, okay, so I think we're done with the discussion of that, with the understanding
Yes, we'll pick it up again.
that will, you know, I guess actions to be taken will be, learn more about it.
We will be continuing this, yes.
Yes, okay. So now we're going on to appointment of Republicans to the BCA per 17 VSA section 2143. And so we have two Republicans who have stepped up. One is Lyle Howe and the other is AJ Belleville. And they were invited to come, but I mean, they weren't required to come. So I'd like to move that we appoint the two of them to the Board of Civil Authority for elections. You know, that's the piece of the responsibility of the Board of Civil Authority that needs to be balanced in terms of politics. So, is there a second?
Actually, I have a question. Did I read that there needs to be 3?
There is one,
There's already.
Done.
Okay, great. Okay.
there's one that was elected, and so they get 3.
Okay, perfect.
Based on population of the town.
Okay, so is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, is there any discussion? Okay. Well, all in favor of that appointment, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, then we have appointed them. Okay, so now we're moving on to town meeting prep discussion. And let's see, the first item is pre-town meeting.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, it's so tiny, but this is a draft. You guys can see, I don't have a full amount of copies, but it's something you've seen before. It's just a draft of an agenda for a pre-town meeting that I passed it by Don and Rick to get their approval, and I think they said this seems fine. So I will be posting this agenda soon. It is just, there's all the articles to discuss at pre-town meeting, and then there's the candidate introductions. And that is really it. I will, before pre-town meeting, be giving a copy of the articles and talking points about any of them if we have them, and to the select board. Assigning one person to read one and then the next, and so on and so forth. We don't have a lot of unusual articles this year. There's just one that's new that we've never seen before, which is the one about taking postmarked checks in the mail.
And I'm imagining that Ellie will be on hand to explain the nuances
Yes.
of that.
Yeah, so that's the prep for that piece of pre-town meeting.
Okay.
So can I ask, candidate introductions, is that just an introduction or candidate speaking, or how's this work?
They are usually invited to speak, yeah.
Okay,
They say their statement,
okay.
and I think that they are able to answer questions.
All right. And answer questions.
I think so,
At
that's
that
how,
time.
yeah.
Is that the way it works?
And so I'm not gonna be there,
I know.
and I can't zoom in, right?
There,
But we can have you be on
On
speakerphone.
telephone, I can call in?
Yes, and
I don't see why you couldn't FaceTime. I'm gonna really think about the
All right.
logistics
I'd
of
like to do
that.
Should I ask someone to read my speech?
no, I think that you,
Are you loud and proud?
yeah.
Okay.
I think that having you, I mean, we can figure out what the best presentation for real access will be at the meeting, and if it's FaceTime, then does that be put on a screen or something?
Yeah,
Something like that?
I'm not sure how
So
it would
not
work,
a-
but,
Wouldn't a private Zoom on someone's laptop be better? Like a one-on-one?
well, it's the same thing. Yeah, okay, I mean, I could do that. I just don't wanna like create feedback issues or something. I can work with
Right.
DCTV on that.
Okay.
Speakerphone was their executive director's recommendation.
Okay.
But I think that was just a first thought.
Okay, well,
So I'll be
whatever.
talking about it a little bit more.
All right. We can communicate with that, about that.
Yes.
Right.
And maybe even do a practice run.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, and I think I'm gonna be helping set up on the previous night, so the Wednesday
Okay.
evening. So I'll
And
try to
maybe
make that
we can do-
happen.
Yeah, we'll communicate about that.
Okay, so does that cover pre-town meeting?
It covers pre-town meeting. yes.
Okay, then flipping over the
I
agenda.
have one more comment though about town meeting.
Oh, right.
Any groups in town that would like a table at town meeting, it's time to let me know. I said that earlier. And I just wanted to mention the custodian at school counted the chairs that they have. They have 163 chairs. So I know every year someone says, maybe we should rent some chairs or somehow get some more or borrow some from BVCC, but I'm just throwing that out there. I don't know the answer. It seems like the amount of chairs we had last year was maybe not quite enough.
I think a lot of people like to stand at the end and on the sides. And
It's
That's true.
traditional.
Yeah,
It's
it
really,
is.
and from what I remember, like not all chairs were filled,
Probably not, yes.
So-
Like, people don't like to sit in the front.
but
And there's not going to be any election apparatus this year in the back of the
Oh,
room.
that's
So there's going to be
right.
more space for standing or,
I mean, maybe with anticipation of more people being there, we should borrow 20 or 30 chairs.
I think it's not a bad idea, and we can, I mean, if their custodian isn't going to be available for setup, perhaps when it gets a little bit closer, we could get some volunteers beyond our very own selves to, you know, bring some more chairs and have them be at the ready. I know we have arranged childcare. We have 2 paraprofessionals from Brattleboro and a young intern, I believe, who are going to be doing childcare, and we're going to be asking, this is a first overture, that we're going to be asking families who want to bring children once again to sort of give us a heads up about how many kids they want to have. And I think that we have mic carriers lined up.
So is that a sign-up sheet online? How many kids are you bringing?
Childcare.
So
I think I could, let's see, the school is going to be sending out a message, and I'm also in touch with some of the homeschool families, or, you know, somebody who has access to their network to have them, you know, I'll be the
You're the
point of.
liaison to reach out to you?
I'm the liaison.
Okay.
Right,
So people will email you and let you know their childcare numbers?
that's right.
Okay.
That's right, to my town address, so it doesn't get swamped into my personal email. And,
Great.
yeah, so I think we're in pretty good shape in terms of those logistics, which is a relief. Okay, so are we ready to move on?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Well, now it's new business, and Jeanette, would you like to bring a chair up here?
Bring a chair up. Jeanette Tokars, 128 Ashworth Road, and thank you for taking the time to address this evening. You've hopefully seen this document, which is the Municipal Resolution for Municipal Planning Grant. This is one of the steps necessary for the Planning Commission to apply for a municipal planning grant. And I have lots of background on that grant in case you're interested, but it's a grant that is administered annually. I'm going to get all these acronyms. Department of Housing and Community Development. It's a competitive grant. A municipality operating by itself can get up to $30,000. And it's intended to promote planning, revitalization, and development activities that maintain Vermont's land use goal of compact settlements separated by rural lands. And I want to emphasize that one of the prerequisites of this grant is that there's citizen participation. So it's not as if we were to receive this grant that we go off in a closed room and smoke a lot of cigars and come out with a plan. It would be something that would engage citizenry throughout the process. One thing that you might have read under Section 1 is that that sentence says, "and obligations of this grant program, including a commitment to match funds." You can strike that because our municipality has no bylaws or zoning ordinances, and because of that, if we are awarded this grant, there's no match requirement. So basically, it's free to Guilford. And I'll stop there. Questions so far about this?
No, I read the material, so I don't
Okay.
have questions so far.
Okay, thanks.
Anybody else have questions so far?
So the intent is that thinking about the 5 and 10 year timeline, that you think about a strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats analysis for Guilford. We have climate threats. We have opportunities for growth. The state, as you may be aware, is really looking at ways to promote growth. And if Guilford may be subject to some development pressures, and yet we have no way to guide growth in a way that preserves our rural character or maintains our rural character. So to me, this grant opportunity is more of an exploratory process. I'm not trying to say, I think we need to have this on the books. It's more of like investigating what options, if any, make sense for Guilford from a regulatory standpoint. So that's the intent. So I think tonight you're just supposed to hear this and then perhaps at the next meeting vote to whether or not to approve it.
Seeing as we're in the middle of this, could I just ask a question, how this differs from that ARPA grant where you had the planning? Didn't you get a grant for planning, somebody come and do a planning?
That was, this actually is an outgrowth of that process, in that other process that we did was really really looking at our town plan, getting kind of updated feedback about priorities that are, because were many goals in the town plan, and wanted to update what ones people were most kind of invested in as a community. And one of the outcomes of that discussion was people really voiced their love of Guilford's landscape and concern about it. And then there was, you may remember, all the controversy around the proposed Wyndham Windsor Housing Trust development. And people, I think, realized that we had no ability to shape that discussion. And so this is, to me, an evolutionary step in that, stepping back and saying, change is probably going to come to Guilford in some form or another. And how do we as a community, and I want to emphasize community, want to position ourselves to maintain what we want to maintain in Guilford. So it's an outgrowth of that process, if you will.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So, so next, so is the grant material available for the public to look at?
I think that you could, I have not written the grant application yet.
Oh, I don't mean that, I just mean the overview of the grant.
There is there is this DHCD planning grant. I can send the link to Erica.
Yeah, I think people want to see
The
the,
program basics, this document right here, that, I mean, that pretty much spells it out.
That's what I'm referring to.
Yeah,
That's
that on the website.
so it is on the website.
Well, I don't know if it
I
is
don't
yet.
think it's on the town website, but it could easily be there.
Yeah,
But I think that
Be
that
added
really
to the-
talks about what it is,
It's,
what it's going to do.
Would it be under the planning commission?
well, it isn't on there
not
yet.
No, I know it's
on
not
the
now, but
Vermont
would it be?
Department of Housing and Community Development.
It would be, there would be the planning commission working with Wyndham Regional.
But would
And there
it
would
be,
be-
in the website, would it be under the
Well, yeah,
planning
just
commission
where
headline?
where would you put it on the town website, just for
Info
people?
about the,
I could attach it to the minutes of this meeting.
Oh, well, that would be handy, wouldn't it?
Indeed.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay. Okay, slam dunk. So, okay. So, thank you so much, Jeanette. Also, I think in a single meeting action, we have, Mike Zostek has volunteered to be the select board liaison to the planning commission. And I'm really pleased about that. And so this is something that the select board needs to vote on. So I would like to move that we appoint Mike as liaison to the planning commission. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any conversation? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Can Mike vote for himself?
Always aye.
Yes.
Okay, well, thank you for voting for yourself. I have great faith in you. Okay.
Before we move on, I would like to ask a couple of questions about the grant, the timeline. And is this a grant that, Erica, you're going to be filling out the?
No.
No, so this isn't you, okay?
No, it's Jeanette or.
And Jeanette, your timeline is March 31st.
Yes.
And if we vote on this at next meeting, you have enough time to get it in.
Right.
Okay, thank you. That's all.
Okay. Okay, terrific. So, okay, well, congratulations, Mike, and thank
Thank you,
you for
Mike.
your service. And so now we're on to the welcome to Algiers sign. And just to, so Kyle, could you just come on up and we could give people a little background?
Sure.
That's the seed for that. Okay, good.
Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, no, that's fine. And so, from what I understand, the welcome to Guilford sign was created by the Eagle Scouts. And how long ago was that?
I've heard 15 or 25 years ago, so
Yeah, sounds about right.
Uh-huh.
it's ready to go to sign Valhalla.
Yes.
Right, yeah, Rick Zangmore, I guess, was involved.
He helped build it.
Uh-huh. And there's been considerable interest from different people, and I immediately, Kyle brought it up. How long ago was that, Kyle?
I think it was in May.
Yeah, probably May time, yeah,
Last year.
last year, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Time flies.
Yeah, and then another Guilford resident brought it up on Discover Guilford, and there was sort of a flurry of interest. And it's a kind of funny project because it's not a town project.
Right, the town had nothing to do with it in the beginning.
Excuse me.
It's not town property,
Right,
but it is the entrance gateway to Guilford.
Gateway to Guilford.
Yeah.
And so, so Kyle, what were your thoughts about how to proceed with this?
I believe just getting the permission from the current landowner, the private landowner, to decommission the sign and just get rid of the viewing point right now, and then over the next coming months, maybe involve someone who can potentially design a future sign that can withstand the material to last the weather in Vermont, for generations to come. And but first, I think our first step is to talk to the current landowner, decommission the sign, and then we go from there. So.
Yeah, it sounds like that sign is good to go.
Yeah, it's in pretty rough shape. When we were putting out the snowmobile signs this past year, we noticed it was it's one of those things you want to try to repair, but it's beyond restoration.
I know, and so I guess there are some constraints about sign logistics, aren't there?
I was in touch with Mark Pickering he's our district supervisor at V-Trans, and he says it must be outside of the right-of-way, which it is, 150 square feet maximum size and no lighting. The current sign and location meet those guidelines, so you may replace the existing sign in the same location without a need for a permit for work within the right-of-way from V-Trans.
That's great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
that's
great.
all he has to say about
And
that.
so then does the town have any financial responsibility for either the creation of the sign or the maintenance of the sign, or is this how do people do it?
Well, right, I mean, I think what it looks like right now is that it's a citizen-led initiative. Maybe there could be fundraising, maybe there could be a matching grant. There's a Better Places grant that works that way. I don't know the financial parameters of it. I think it might even be more than a sign, but I don't know.
Interesting.
So there is a citizen-led group right now?
Yeah,
Okay. Maybe they can start a fundraising project and have donations given at the town meeting for the sign.
Yep. Well, I guess what we can do is give our blessing to whoever wants to carry this forward. And, I don't want to ask you to be in charge of it unless it's something that you're just interested in talking with people and figuring out how to carry it forward.
I think just giving the community an opportunity to kind of band together and kind of see what we can come up with a design and signage and financially, maybe get a couple different ideas and viewpoints, I think would be the best bet. And then we just can go from there and see what we can do and how we can give back to the community.
Maybe having a table at town meeting, you know, if
Yeah.
somebody wanted to staff the table or have a little part of somebody else's table just to
Right.
get it. I mean, I think people would be very enthusiastic about this because,
I think so. I think it's time to get a new sign there.
well, you have a great record of spearheading and creating beautiful signage, so that's why, you know, and you all already sort of expressed some concern about it, so, yeah, I mean, if there's a way that we can help, you know, reach out to me, okay?
Great.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Okay, so now we're on professional audit engagement FY '25.
Yes, it is that time of year again. We got our engagement letter from the auditors. We are in the third year, no, sorry, we're in the second year of a 3-year contract. So the price that they charge will not change from last year or next year. It's $16,500 total. They break it up in chunks, so it's not all at once, but that's the cost of the government standards audit that they perform. And they've been coming to Guilford for at least 15 years to do this service for us.
This same...
Yes, and Bonnie is very familiar with the way things work here, and she's very, very professional and a very good resource for Ellie and me as we try to navigate the finances of the town. She knows a lot about statute, and we can ask her anything. And did you come to the meeting that we had with her last year when she was here as some select board folks? I don't remember who came and talked to her about questions that they had, and she was very helpful with them. So this is an action that I can highly recommend the select board approve at the next meeting and sign this engagement letter. She plans to come at the end of August to begin the audit process for fiscal year '25, which we are in now. I will remind you all that our procurement policy allows this to be undertaken because it's a professional service. It doesn't have to be put out for bid every year. We have a relationship with them, and it's very positive for Guilford.
Well, especially considering the uncertainty in every town's future. It
This is
seems
true.
like we're lucky to have people who are professional and who understand our history, financial history, and organizations so closely. So, is there any discussion from the select board about this? Okay, so we'll be voting on this at the next meeting.
Yes.
Okay, well, thank you. All right, so do we have any other business? Okay.
Yeah, I just want to go back to one thing for the pre-town meeting agenda. I just wanted to put it out there that where it says town candidate introductions, that is not just select board candidates. There's 2 auditors and there's also the town clerk.
Yep.
So I'm hoping that
School board too.
and school board. So I'm hoping that all people that are running for any positions will be there and say a little speech about themselves.
Yes, So we really need to spread the word about that, and I'm sure that Dawn.
Don
Will
is the
be-
invitation person.
Can we just put a little blurb on the town website?
Yeah.
Anyone
Yes.
running for any position, appointed, elected position,
Yeah,
your opportunity before the town meeting is at pre-town meeting.
that's right.
Right.
Yes.
Talk about yourself.
But this year, for the first time ever, our town meeting is before the election, so candidates can speak at town meeting.
Oh, good,
That's my
okay.
understanding from
Now, do we,
the LCT workshop.
I mean, I guess this might be sort of out of order, you know, I don't mean out of order like smash the gavel. I mean, do we need to have a place on the warning of town meeting to have candidates who want to speak to the public? Do we have to warn that?
I don't think so, because it isn't an action that needs to be taken. Like, there's going to be a presentation by the school. Zahn will give a presentation like Sarah Coffey has done in the past.
So we can do a presentation, we can create a space for it, and not have it be an article.
Yes.
Uh-huh, well, right, well, maybe when people come to town meeting, we can have on the handout, you know, presentations by, you know, candidates, by the school, by, you know, just to make sure that people know that this is also going to be happening, because that is new, you know, we haven't done that before. It seems so very.
Well, I think what we should do is create the space and then give people a time limit, like 3 minutes. And then that way it's not all over the place, and here it is. The people that are speaking can actually sign up. So you can do your select board, you can divide it, and then here's your slots. So you've got 3 minutes to speak, 2-minute changeover. And then we have the minutes, how long this will take.
Uh-huh. And so at pre-town meeting, I hear that candidates can answer questions.
I think so.
Oh, okay.
Is that not typical?
No, it is,
I think it is, yes.
Yeah.
I've been questioned.
No, I do remember. Okay. Well, okay. So, all right, I guess this was sort of other business.
Yes.
And so do we have any correspondence?
No.
Okay, then I guess we have time for public comment. So does anybody here have any public comments that you want to make? Doris?
I have a few, but was anybody up there, up on the screen gonna?
Well,
I
why
can't
don't
see that
you-
far if they got hands up or not.
I see no hands.
Okay,
Do you want to come closer, Doris?
not really. If you don't mind.
I don't.
I got a big enough mouth. I had a few questions with the ethics sort of thing that you guys are working out. You said that it could be dealt with executive session. To me, that doesn't seem, you know, I mean, I know you're still kind of working out how it would do if somebody came and had a complaint about the ethics, had an ethics complaint and came to the board or whoever the person was. And then, for one thing, so then if it was against somebody on the select board, so basically they're the ones that resolve it and say, nah, I don't think so, or is that like a, I don't know who else you would get to do it, but to me it seems like you're just policing yourselves. As you know, I don't know who else you would get to do it, but and then to go into executive session as an option, to me seems like it's not very transparent. You know, if somebody actually has an ethics complaint, or they come and they present it, then to run into, you know, into the back room and talk about it where nobody else can hear it, that doesn't make sense to me. Just as a couple comments. I would like to ask Erica what came of the Historical Society and how that is coming along. And one other thing is, because of the big push for that it's so dangerous down on the corner on Route 5 and in Algiers, when the buildings were put in down there, or they were, for the big ones, they said one of the big considerations that people were saying, well, how's it going to be with parking along Center Road? And it's like, there's no parking on Center Road, especially, you know, when there's plow and when it's snowing, everybody's supposed to park in the back, and Wyndham Windsor was going to clean it up. If you go down there now, it's like a little chute going past mostly the Tontine building. There's cars with snow on them, and it hasn't been plowed. So, I mean, I don't really give a rat's ass as far as me driving by, but I'm just saying that, you know, if this whole thing is put up that we want sidewalks down there, we want this and that, well, it's not even being taken care of. That was supposed to be taken care of. That was part of the deal when they put those in there. It's like, no, there's not going to be parking on the road during snowstorms, and they were going to clear, and Wyndham Windsor was going to clear it up, and they're not. So, you know, instead of adding another thing with sidewalks, and if it's so dangerous down there that we need sidewalks because of the traffic, then maybe that would help alleviate it if Wyndham Windsor actually stuck to what they said they were going to do.
Thanks, Dolores.
I would like to respond about the ethics thing. So, because this is all new, and it's coming directly from VLCT, it's coming directly from the state with new rules and regulations, like we don't know all the details. But the way I look at it is it's like, it's a grievance. So the person that has the grievance, you know, the bottom line is that they want to get some remediation and they want to work through it and feel better. So as long as like they're getting their needs met, whoever has the grievance, I think that, I mean, that's the goal. If it doesn't happen, then I think that then we reach out to the VLCT and maybe have mediation or something. I understand what you're saying about policing ourselves, and if we were in an executive session, if somebody had a grievance towards me, I'm not going to be in that executive session. So I'm just going to trust, and the town also, I would hope, trusts that we all are going to do the right thing. But like I said, the person that has the grievance, they need to know that it's been worked through and they leave here happy. So until that happens, you know, we have to get to that point. If somebody has a problem, then we have to fix it.
Well, I mean, we're going to be learning more about all of this, and, you know, thanks for your comments, and we'll do the best we can to follow up.
Yeah, I'm not like accusing anybody or anything. I'm just saying that if it was more of an open sort of process, that it would alleviate people's mistrust.
It's all hypothetical, though.
I know it is,
We can't
but that's
really,
what
depending on the situation, you know, depending on like who has a problem and is how it will be dealt with.
And what the problem is, yes.
Exactly, and the person that has the problem, we need to remedy it. Like, the whole point is to make them walk away and the problem's gone. So like, that's the goal. And because it's all hypothetical and we don't actually have a situation, it's hard to say what we're going to do, but we're going to do whatever the bylaws tell us to do. And if the person's not happy, if they feel like there's a conflict of interest, then we will reach out to the VLCT and see if mediation needs to then come in. I'm assuming.
Okay, so did anybody else have a public, a community comment that they wanted to offer?
I wanted Erica to answer about the Historical Society, where that stands at this point.
Well, so my meeting with them yielded probably, it's going to be 2 RFPs, not just one, but I'm hoping to get the one for painting out this week. Just so that can get in the schedule for the summer, hopefully. And there may be a separate one for windows because they're needing a little bit more work than, we'll see what responses we get and who can do the work. And if someone who can do the bulk of the painting can't do the carpentry work, then we'll put out another RFP for that. And we're working with them, and they're also looking at the slate roof on their little schoolhouse that they maintain down on Carpenter Hill, and they are hoping to get somebody to look at the roof of the museum as well at that same time. So,
Okay, well,
yeah.
thank you for your work on that, Erica. Let's see, so having no further community comments, it's time to do actions from the 1/27/25 meeting. We approved the 1/13/25 minutes, approved warrants, appointed Dave Eastman to the Solid Waste District, adopted the delinquent tax policy, approved FY26 budget proposal, approved town meeting articles and warning, approved ethic commission liaisons Erica and Uriel, appointed Barry Oleshnik to the Algiers Traffic and Safety Committee, appointed Katie Shea to the Conservation Commission. Actions taken tonight were that we approved 2 sets of minutes. We approved the warrants. We appointed the Republicans to the Board of Civil Authority. We appointed Mike to be the Select Board liaison to the Planning Commission, and we had some valuable conversations. Actions to be taken. Let's see. We have to learn more about the new ethics rules and requirements, and I can't think of anything else. And so with that in mind, I'd like to entertain a motion for adjournment.
I'm happy to second that. Or to propose it, either.
Is there any discussion? Okay.
Who moved?
Thank you.
So moved. I moved it.
Michael
Who's
moved.
gonna
Who's
second?
going to second?
I'll second.
Okay.
Thank you.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstainers? Okay, well, thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.